Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off. Online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and in today's episode we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender Joe Murdaca. Joe just finished his third year of professional hockey, playing for a few teams in the East Coast Hockey League, majority of them with the Atlanta Gladiators, as well as getting his first 2 AHL wins with the Abbotsford Canucks in the American Hockey League. Joe has worked his way up from the Federal Prospects Hockey League all the way up to the American Hockey League so far in his career. Joe plays junior hockey days in the GOJHL, the OHL, OJHL, and the QMJHL, while being OHL champion, QMJHL champion, and a CHL Memorial Cup champion throughout that span before turning pro. So it's going to be a really fun episode. So welcome to the show, Joe Murdaca.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Going good.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Everything's going good with me. How's everything with you?
Everything's great, man. Just got back from a little vacation. All is well. Good little reset, but now it's time to dive back into training. So
yeah,
full force this last week. I've been on the ice every day, workouts in the morning, and this I got this new job. I do goalie. I teach goalies goalie lessons as well now too. So
yeah, that's awesome. But start things off, like how was your trip? You went backpacking overseas. Like how was that?
Yeah, that was great. It's just with being on 5 different ECHL teams this year. It was a lot on the mind. It was really, really stressful, but at the end of the day, I got a job in Atlanta, and it's just to take some time to reset. Regroup, think about what you need to do for the future, and that was a good little reset for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you had all those like sick views, a 3 a.m. hike, like we were talking about earlier, like that.
Yeah.
Those are like the experiences
the hikes
you want.
Yeah, exactly. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning one night, and it's about a 2-hour hike called Mount Budur. It's an active volcano, actually. So when you're up there, there's a bunch of steam and stuff coming out. And we got up there. It was a 2-hour hike, 5 a.m. And then you stay up there, you watch the sunrise, get some coffee. And honestly, probably one of the hardest hikes I've done, because it's almost 90 degrees all the way up, and you're just hiking on volcano rock. So a lot of loose rock, loose gravel. But other than that, it was pretty good, man.
Probably sweating buckets with it being 90 degrees up there too.
Yeah. It was like, oh man, they up top, like it was freezing up top because you were so high in the elevation. But like on the way up, man, like we were sweating buckets. Like, we had these sweaters that we had, and we had to take them off because it was so hot on the way up. Because it's like near the equator, right, over there in Thailand. So yeah, it's a lot hotter throughout the season. So it was like, yeah, I want to say maybe 90, 95 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, and you're thinking like I sweat off like probably 5 to 10 pounds, even more
when
you're on the ice, and then you're doing the same thing hiking.
Yeah, exactly. I lost a good 10, 15 pounds over there. I mean, the food was amazing. I tried to get up and go on a run every day, and going on the run in the morning, and it being so hot out, you tend to sweat a lot more, right? So
Yeah.
you kind of lose that excess fat.
Yeah, exactly. And like and then like it gets you back in shape a little bit too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I came back and I was surprised on how my body was reacting, because I play on this pro league out in Hamilton in up in Canada here, and I was surprised on how well I was playing. So
Yeah, exactly. And like you've been back training, like getting on the ice every day. So like how's
yeah,
that going?
yeah, like started training with my goalie coach in Stony Creek. It's the same area, Hamilton. His Nick Granger is his name. He's like the goalie coach for the Hamilton Bulldogs of the OHL, and then he runs his own school down in the town beside Hamilton. So yeah, that's 4 times a week right now, and then with a game, and then just started back out with my trainer at White Oaks. He's like the trainer of the Niagara Ice Dogs. So you got a good little group of people down here to kind of set you up for success.
Yeah, a good little group to push you
Yeah,
to the limits when you're training for the season.
yeah,
Just like have that support group too is always good to have.
yeah, exactly. You know it, man.
Yeah. So to start things off, can you give like our viewers like a little background information on yourself, like when you started playing hockey, why you started, like what youth hockey was like for you growing up in Niagara Falls?
Yeah, so basically I started when I was learned how to skate when I was 3 4 years old. um I was always like playing mini sticks when I was a kid and pretending to make big saves. I was always that kid, coming
Yeah.
over.
The windmill.
Yeah, the windmill, you know it. And well, basically one day, so I started out as a player. I skated once. um I was just playing, and then I wasn't as fast. I mean, I don't remember this, but from what my parents said is that I didn't think I was as fast as the other kids, and they bought me like a little like street hockey, like little pretend goalie set. So one of the coaches was like, we need a goalie for the net tomorrow. And I said, oh, like I'll play, let's go. And well, I got a shutout. Like I didn't let in a goal the first game, and that was that, man. I never left the net since. And you know, my dad built a rink in the backyard. That's how I learned how to skate. My mom's dad did it for her when she was a kid, because my dad's Italian, so he doesn't really have any hockey background. Nobody does in my family, but being Canadian and it being so cold up here during the winter time, you're able to do that. So yeah, I learned in my backyard how to skate, and it just translated into like tyke and then playing in net. And then yeah, I was fortunate I was a taller kid, right? So I took up a lot more of the net, and yeah, man, never came out ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially like when you're like I've done the same thing, like playing mini sticks, like you make the
Yeah,
biggest
oh
saves
yeah,
and like you think you're hot shit and everything, and it's just like you're
yeah.
just having fun out there making big windmill saves, windmill Wednesdays, whatever.
Yeah, Windmill Wednesdays. I love that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what it was when I was a kid. I liked being the savior. I liked, making the big saves, and like stealing games from my teams. And I mean, growing up in Niagara Falls, like we didn't have the best team. We always struggled, and it was kind of bad because we were losing. We'd go like 6-26, like we wouldn't never win 10 games. So it was kind of frustrating, right? Because you get
Yeah.
scored on a lot more. But other than that, like being in Niagara Falls, like there's so many people here to help you, like goalie coaches, different sets of ice. And so it did set me up for success. So
Yeah.
they did have a good minor program.
Yeah, and I feel like as you get older too, like I've had the same experiences. You lose a bunch of games, but like as you get older, like you like understand like that's what it takes to develop and like just like
Yeah.
get the repetitions, especially like when you're getting peppered with shots, like it's just repetitions, and then everything, and then once in a while, like everything's gonna come together and it's gonna come full circle, and you're gonna get some wins.
Yeah, exactly. And you hit it spot on, man. That's exactly what happened. One year, I don't know if it was minor Bantam or major Bantam, one of the years, and we got a lot of players from. There was a lot of conflict with one of the other teams, and a bunch of the guys, another came over from Southern Tier, like Welland area was like another program there. So they came over to our team, and we actually went to like the provincial championship. Like we've never done that before in our lives. And, it was just one of those years that clicked. I was stopping everything. We were scoring goals, and once when you play more, obviously you feel better, you feel sharper,
Yeah.
you're stopping the puck a lot more. So that year I played a lot, and yeah, man, I was stopping everything. We didn't make it to the finals, but we won the bronze medal game, and that was pretty spectacular for Niagara Falls because they've never really had a team that's gone that far and won it all. So good for the organization, and good for the hometown hockey.
Yeah, for sure. So do you prefer seeing a lot of shots in a game, or do you prefer like maybe like 15 to 20 shots, or like compare like 40 to 45?
No, I'd rather see a lot of shots. I mean, whenever I get like a good, I don't know, 5 or 7 shots in the first 10 minutes of the game, I always seem to have better games. I don't know, maybe because I'm locked in a bit more, but maybe I'm seeing the puck but I'm a better goalie when I'm seeing a lot of pucks. I'm always active. I'm not just sitting around, and so I like the 40 shot games for sure.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I face a lot of 40 plus shot nights, and it's like it gets you dialed in right away, and like you don't have
Yeah,
any
for
time to
sure.
just relax. And then like when you do face like 15 shots, like you may be like get a little like I don't want to say tired, but
Yeah.
like not as
But
dialed
you get
in.
out of it, like you're not in the game, right? Like I don't know, like it's a mental game too, right? Half of it
Yeah,
is mental and being focused and being ready. But like I said before, like it's all about like how you feel in the game. Are you positioning good? Like what are you doing to make yourself set you up for the next save?
yeah.
So I mean, the more shots you get, obviously you get dialed in, but I mean, you can have 20 shot games and be just as good.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about you getting dialed in, like how good you're seeing shots, how good you feel as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've had a lot, like when I first started in the SPHL, I had a lot of 20, 25 shot games. But I mean, I was getting shutouts, so you can't complain with those kind of games, right? So,
Yeah,
and hats off to the defense too, right? The defense has a huge role in playing that.
yeah, exactly. And so, like, what was like some of your fondest memories growing up playing the game you love, and especially like in the youth hockey days?
Yeah, I mean, touched on it a bit before, but definitely winning that bronze medal. Never really won anything before that, so it felt good. I think that's what kind of got me going even more was the winning side of things. It's addicting, and everybody loves winning, and everybody hates
Yeah,
losing. So that was huge. And then I actually played my minor midget year. Well, my major Bantam year, I played up with I'm a '98 born, so I played a minor midget for 2 years. Like it was 2 years of draft. I played with a '97 age group, and I thought I was good enough. I wanted the experience. I wanted to be ready for the draft the next year, and um, I mean, it didn't go. We like playing for Niagara Falls, right? We didn't have the best team, and especially that age group as well. I think we had 6 wins the entire year. We went
yeah,
like 6 and something or whatever, but I had 5 of those wins. So I mean, I was doing something right, and just trying to steal a game or two here and there, and it put me on the radar.
yeah,
Scouts saw me a year before. Okay, they'll give this guy another year to develop, and then playing for the Hamilton Bulldogs my draft year. Great organization, like it was so. I just had a coach. We had a coach back here that wasn't really good. He didn't treat the players right. I had him when I was like super young, and when I was super young, just had a bad experiences with him. So, I wanted to win, and I wanted to give myself the best opportunity to get
yeah,
drafted and to play in the OHL. So I got a couple of releases from the teams around the area, and went and played for Hamilton. And yeah, man, we were the second ranked team in all of Ontario that year, and we won, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 tournaments, and just a great overall team. We had the most guys drafted out of any team in that year. We had 14 of our 16 guys drafted, and um, we unfortunately we didn't win it all. We didn't win. We lost in the quarters of the Gold Cup, OHL Gold Cup, but those memories are what's going to last me forever, right? The friends
yeah.
you make, like I'm still friends with them. We still play against each other, so those days are probably the good days. I mean, I wasn't always a winner. I did lose a lot when I was young. I don't think I had a winning year since that year that we won the bronze, right? So
Yeah.
that was nice. But besides that, yeah, man, Hamilton was probably the best time.
Yeah, so like you've been saying with Hamilton, like you came up from AAA before going on to juniors and
Yeah.
having a hell of a junior career, and then you just go through like the ranks and like develop from AAA to juniors. Like, what was it like to develop from AAA and then get your first shot in juniors?
Yeah, so I was pretty fortunate enough. I've got to play my hometown junior team, the Junior B Canucks here, and I used to go with Frank Pietrangelo. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but
Yeah, I've heard.
goalie for the goalie that used to play for Pittsburgh. Knew what he was doing, knew what he was talking about. He was the head coach of the team, but he's like a goalie, right? So he knows what
Yeah,
he was doing. So I was fortunate enough. My first year, he gave me like 22, 24 starts or something. And honestly, that was so crucial to developing and understanding the pace of the game. So, I mean, if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would have had my junior career that I did. I mean, I was a suitcase, right? Kind of went over all over the place, just try and find lands to stick. And I didn't really notice, like I always played off athleticism. I'm a really
yeah,
athletic guy. I played a bunch of different sports, football, basketball, soccer, you name it. All travel, all like highest level. But as you get older and you play junior, you have to keep up your body. You got to be you
yeah,
got to be working out, and that's just something I wasn't really doing early in my junior days, and I was just playing off my athleticism. And I learned that my second, third year before I went to Erie, and I think that's what set me up for success is the working out and then taking your game to an extra level, right? Stretching, lifting weights, whatever you have to do to get yourself ready. And I noticed that it was more off ice things than it was on ice that I needed to do. And but yeah, playing in Niagara Falls, it just gave me an opportunity, right? You don't usually,
yeah,
a rookie 16-year-old, his first year junior doesn't usually get 24 games, but because I knew Frank as a coach and as a person, he gave me a shot and an opportunity. And yeah, we went with it. And I didn't think I had the best stats that year, but it was crucial for my development.
yeah. And sometimes that's all you need is a shot or an opportunity
Yeah.
to prove that you belong there and like to have that like confidence as well. Like, how big did confidence play in as a factor, especially like first year
Yeah.
juniors when you're playing 24 games?
Yeah, confidence is massive, man. Because when you feel like you're behind the puck or you're fighting the puck, you're scared and you tend to let in a lot more goals than you'd like. And when you're confident, right, like you play a lot
Yeah,
of games, you start feeling the puck. You're doing things. You're consistent, right? And that's how I got drafted to Saginaw. But the Mississauga GM was out scouting our games for one of the couple prospects that we had, and he saw me play, and he's like, "All right, I'm going to trade for this guy. Like Saginaw's not using him." And so, I mean, him giving me that opportunity to play opened up other doors because you never know who's watching, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I was like thankful that the Mississauga GM was watching me, right, and he liked me, and so they made a trade, and that's when the development really started to kick in because I had a goalie coach, right, all
yeah,
like throughout the whole year. I mean, junior B, like like he was a goalie coach, but like he was also our coach, right? So he wasn't really focused on goalie things. So when I went to Mississauga, we had a goalie coach skate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you're going over film, you're going over little things that you have to critique in your game, rotations, different
yeah,
stances you have to be in. That's what kind of took me to the next level was being in Mississauga, and then um, going from Mississauga to Erie is when I really was feeling it. I think one of the best coaches I've ever had was Chris Knobloch. Very, very strict old style guy, but he knew how to coach a team, and he knew how to make guys their best, and he brought the best out of me, and that's how I was able to succeed.
yeah. That's awesome, especially like where it goes from like the beginning to like where it ends, and like even in the middle. Like it's just awesome to see where like everything takes off and like develops you
Yeah.
even further and like makes you like a lot more confident going into the next season.
Yeah, exactly. Just you keep building confidence, you keep getting motivated, and it just translates into new things. So
Yeah, exactly. So like, what do you think was the hardest part about transitioning from like AAA to going over to juniors?
um probably the shots, the speed of players for sure, because AAA you're playing against guys your own age, and then as
Yeah,
soon as you go to juniors, you're playing against guys 4 or 5 years older than you. Um, So they have that development, they have that speed. So I would say like the pace of play, probably the hardest for me to try to get. I'm a bigger goalie, so I didn't have the best skating. I was a lot slower. I mean, I'm a lot better now, but back then, I was a slower skated goalie. So, I didn't have that opportunity to get better in junior B at least. But yeah, transitioning from AAA to junior, I would say the pace of the play and the shot speed, because you're used to, mediocre, like pretty good shots, but then you got
Yeah.
guys, going backdoor, cross, tic-tac-toeing, and it's different for a goalie, right?
Yeah, exactly. So then the following year you go into the Goj before going to the O. So like
Yeah.
what was crucial for you to go back and developing the Goj before like taking that big step to the OHL?
Yeah, man, it was crucial for my development. I mean, we had I got my first year out of junior out of the way. Had a great year, or had a great summer of training, and fortunate we had a really good team in Niagara Falls. A couple guys came down from junior A to play, and like I said, that's what I was talking about the Mississauga coach. I had a really good game. I think we beat Caledonia, which is like they won like 3 championships in a row. Nobody ever beats them. They maybe lose 2-3 games all year. And, I had 54 shots on net. We won 4-3 in overtime, 54-51. I stopped. So that was the game that kind of changed my outlook, or my outlook on, or people's outlook on me, right? They're like, okay, this kid can play, let's give him a chance. So that was probably crucial for now, is just having that first year, because if I don't have that first year, I don't develop the way I did. I don't, maybe, who knows, if I have a different coach, I probably don't play as much. So everything happens for a reason, and that's the way you got to look at it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you think like all those factors like really helped you in like pushing yourself to get to the next level and just be able to just keep progressing and moving on to the next level after that?
Yeah, it just kept it becomes habit after, you do the same things, you do the same routines, same practices, same workouts, right? And things just progressively grow. So if I don't have the year that I did that first year, then who knows what could have happened, right?
Yeah, exactly.
24 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24 games in a season. It's a lot. It's a lot of games, right? Especially
Yeah.
for a guy like a rookie, right? So
Yeah, and like it just goes to prove that like if you work hard, like anything can happen. Like you played 24 games that first year, and you didn't look back after that.
no, I did not, man. I just kind of took opportunities and ran with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then in 2016-17, you win an OHL championship. So like what was that run like throughout the playoffs that
Yeah.
led you guys to winning a championship?
Sorry. Sorry.
No, you're good.
So that year was kind of a crazy year. I was started with Mississauga, and the year before that, they're like, hey, like we don't have a starter right now. We want to bring you in. We want you to start. We want you to have a good summer. Come skate with us in Mississauga. I'm like, yeah, great, sure. I worked my balls off that summer. Went to Mississauga to skate with the assistant and the head coach, and training camp. They drafted a guy early, second round that year, that April. So I was like, okay, like, they're probably going to bring this guy in, maybe sit him behind me. It's my third year junior. It's my shot, my chance. And right 2 days before camp, they traded for an overager. And I kind of got pushed out to like the backup role. And I didn't have the best camp, I guess. They didn't, I let in some goals that I would like to have back. And then I got pushed down to the third goalie. They didn't really give me a game or an opportunity. So they sent me down to Trenton. I was like, listen, like I know I can play. I know I'm good enough. Like, so I was just talking to my agent, and I got a break. And the goalie that was there, he was a really good goalie. Got called up to the U18 Canada team, so they needed a guy. So I got in, and long story short, we played Erie, and my other partner started, and he got pulled. We were losing 7-1. So they put me in for the third, and I had 21 of 21 saves. So I stopped all 21, and their GM was in the crowd watching. So my agent and their GM knew each other, and they said, listen, like, we'd like to bring this guy in. And they didn't give me the next start. We had a 3-3. They didn't give me the next start the next day. We lost again. So then they gave me the Sunday start and won again 3-2 in OT. So like I had like a 950 save percentage and like a 1 goals against average in 2 games. So Erie was looking to pick up a goalie, and I played 7 games in Trenton in the OJHL, and then I got traded over to Erie. And then, nothing but good things happened then. I mean, same thing. Coach gave me an opportunity. I played well. I wasn't the starter there. I had to work into that position. But I mean, my goalie partner, Troy Timpano, unfortunately, he got sick. He got super sick, and he had to get his stomach pumped, and he lost a bunch of weight. So I mean, I was the only guy there, right? So I started 12 games in a row in Erie and won all 12, got the new franchise record for the most consecutive wins as a goalie. And then that's where it kind of took off. Like I was playing out of my mind, man. Like I've never felt this good. I had this great coach, he's pushing me every day in practice, he's making you stay on to the very last second, and it transitions to the game, right? So and then playoff, my goalie partner came back, and they gave him an opportunity again, and we had a powerhouse team, man. Like the Erie Otters that year, we had like, I don't know, 6 or 7 guys are in the NHL right now, and like that first D pairing, they're all in the NHL. So I mean, I had a great team in front of me, but I think it's the coaching and the kind of systems that Erie had in place that set you up for success. So I got a couple more games in the playoffs. My goalie partner let in 3 goals in a minute in 1 game, so they yanked him, put me in. I played well. Lost the next game. Same thing happened in game 7 of the second round, 3 goals in a minute, so they put me in again. And we came back and won 4-3 in OT, and got the conference final start. It was 1-6-1, and then played game 2 and we lost 4-3. And I don't know the coaches. I don't know what their thinking was, or why they thought that I didn't deserve to play, but they put the other guy back in, and I didn't get a game for the rest of the playoffs. But I'm happy for the experience. I'm humbled that we won. I would have liked to get that Memorial Cup, but everything happened for a reason, and I come back the year after that and get it. So
so you go from a starting role to a backup to a third string, and then starting again, and then a backup role. So like, how do you go through like all those ups and downs, and like just trying to be a good teammate? Like, what do you work at for practices as well, and just especially since you go from starting to a third string really quick?
Yeah, and like obviously, like you go from starting, and the starter does a lot less than what the backup or the third does, right? Because you got to stay on the ice taking pucks. Like you got to earn that right to take a break and to get off the ice right a little early. So I think that's what's keeping me going is the extra shots and the extra things that are making me better. I mean, it's tough, man. Like you're always being back, like but like you just like, this is a game we love. Like, well, I love at least, and I've been doing it ever since I've been a kid. So I mean, I don't really have anything that I'm looking like. I have backup plans and stuff that I think I can do, right? But for right now, I'm young and I want to play for as long as I can, and that's going to push me. So and then you just see improvements. Like nobody really gave me a chance out of junior. Like you said, I started in the FPHL, and I had some connections in Knoxville, and he said as soon as the goalie went down or he needed a goalie, he'd call me in 2 weeks. I was in Elmira for 2 weeks, and things just happen the way that you want them to happen, man.
Yeah, exactly. If things are going to fall in place, they're going to fall in place at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta have that head. You got to stay motivated. You can't let things put you down, and as tough as it is mentally, you just got to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, exactly. So then the following year, you take another huge step and go into the Quebec Major Junior League with the Titans. You're picking up a 12-4-2 records. Like, what do you have to learn throughout your career up to this point that like continue to help you drive to keep moving up the ranks and playing in a major junior league?
Yeah, Erie was looking to rebuild. They wanted their other starter back, and I said, hey, listen, got a call from out in the queue, and they said, we're going on a run, we need a goalie. I said, yeah, I mean, I would love to live out east. So I went out there, and It's the same thing. Great program, great organization. They set you up for success, great coaches, great goalie coach. I had one of the best goalie coaches out there that I've had ever. His name is Dave Kennedy. It just connects with the players a lot better than some other guys, right? A lot of guys are technical, they get mad when you don't do things right, but this guy's was A1, and it honestly helped a lot to have a goalie coach that supports you and to have your back when you're not really from the area. Like I was 16 hours away from home, never really lived that far away.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but you just keep. I was fortunate, right? I had these great teams in front of me that are playing to help me succeed, and when you have the teams in front of you, you're more confident, that these guys are going to make plays that some other guys may not be able to. So it's all about just keep grinding, man. Just keep working and trying to get better at something every day, whether it's skating, whether it's your reverse, whether it's positioning, whether it's rebound control. You just got to try to get a little bit better at something every day, and that'll transition you to be better overall.
Yeah, I love that mindset, especially like you go into practice and like work on have at least like one thing to get better at, and then like do it and like you
Yeah.
just get that 1% better like every day.
That's my motto, man. If you can do 1% every day, at the end of the year, it's like 365%.
Yeah.
So hopefully you've done something to improve yourself, right? So
Yeah, exactly. And so you win a Mem Cup and a QMJHL championship that year. So like what was that year like for you, and just having those championships as some success?
yeah, I didn't really get any games that year. We traded for, like, in the playoffs, we traded for a draft pick. He was drafted to St. Louis, Evan Fitzpatrick. Great goalie partner. He was awesome. We're still friends. We played against each other this year. But he, being drafted to a team, you kind of have that extra length or whatever, right? So, he came over and he didn't start well, but so I was playing, and then St. Louis brought their goalie coach down, and I don't know, something clicked for him. And after that, so, he just played the rest. He played all the playoffs, and, rightfully so. He was the man. He was making saves, crazy saves. And honestly, just I dealt with it the year before, so I know how to be a backup. I know how to support. I know how to go in at any time when I'm called. Right. It's just it's honestly repetitions and just experiencing it. Right. So unfortunately, I didn't play that year, but what a hell of a ride it was. I made some friends that'll last a lifetime, and teammates that I've never really had before that are like that, right? So it's different being out there because you got French guys and then you got English guys, right? So there tend to be two groups, but during the season, we found a way to connect as one, and I think that's what really transitioned to us winning.
Yeah, and I think that's super important as well, especially just like when Evan Fitzpatrick comes in and you get that backup role again, but like how to like support, because like the support from like goalie partners is essential in like both goalie success, and you just got to have that mentality
You
to
have
support
to.
and
Yeah,
just
there can never
do
be.
whatever they can to win.
Yeah, there can never be like hatred, or it's a competition. You guys are pushing each
Yeah,
other, but like at the end of the day, whoever's going to play is going to play. And having a connection with your goalie partner is crucial for a team success, right?
yeah,
So I mean, we got together, we got along really well, and there was nothing really to argue about. We were always working each other, helping each other out. So that's what it should be like. So that's what made it a lot easier for me to be supportive, and because of how good of a guy he was.
yeah, exactly. So then after your last year of juniors, you begin your quest to play pro hockey, where you were able to sign with the Elmira Enforcers of the Federal Prospects Leagues. Like, what was the process like to sign in Elmira?
Yeah, so I mean, I was trying to sign in Knoxville in the SPHL. My agent knew the coach there, but he already had two goalies from the year before that he was bringing in. So he said, "Listen, I don't have room for you right now, but if somebody goes down, you'll be the first guy I call." And so he's like, "I know this coach in Elmira. Go there, play there, and we'll see what happens." So yeah, I went there, and I made the team, and coach loved me. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna play you first weekend." And man, that league is definitely something, because we played they played each other in the finals the year before. I was Elmira in Carolina, in the first like face off, you guys drop the gloves. It's a fighting league, right? So, I think it was the longest game I've ever played because there's just so many fights. There's so much tension from the year before. And I had 45 shots on net or whatever. And we lost 2-0. Had like one goal, like they scored an empty net, and I was like 43 saves on 44 shots. And played the next game the next weekend, had another 45 shots. So like my save percentage was crazy again, right? And then one of the goalies in Knoxville got a concussion, so coach called me up and he's like, "Hey, listen, like we need you. You want to come up?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Didn't play me for the first weekend, and then I knew I was like, I felt like confident, like I was kind of ahead of a play. Like, yeah, the SP is a good league, but like playing in the OHL and in junior, it's a lot faster, right? So
Yeah.
my first game in the SPHL, I had a 47 save shutout. So we won 2-0, and then when you kind of give a start like that, then the coach is like, okay, this kid can play. You don't really get 47 save shutouts, especially in that league,
Yeah.
right? So then, he started me the next game, the next weekend, and then I got a shutout again, man. I got a 32 save shutout the next weekend after that, back-to-back nights, and like that's never happened to me like ever, man. Like I've never gotten back-to-back shutouts, like it's just never happened. I started me the next night. We won 4-3 in OT. So he just kept riding with me and played the next weekend. And then I got another shutout my fourth game, man. So I had like 3 shutouts in my first 4 games and like that's what I felt like was pro, bunch of the FPHL was just a bunch of guys running around, just hitting, and the SP had a more sense of systems and there was more pro, right? So yeah, I started my first I think I was like 9-0-1 in my first like 10 SB games. And then, when you do that in the SPHL, obviously coast teams see that. And
Yeah.
I got a call up to Adirondack and played. They had no goalie there, so I was the only goalie there. So I played Friday, Saturday. I had a really good game. I was feeling myself. It was a lot different though. It was faster. It was more crisp. Yeah. Like some of these guys are NHL draft picks, right? Like it's legit hockey in this league. So I felt like a little slow or a little behind, but we lost. Of course, we lost in shootout. So I played in Adirondack the first night. It was 3-3. 5 shooters. My team didn't score all 5 shots. They scored on the last shot. It was like a deke guy burned me. Anyways, next night, same thing happens. OT, go to shootout. They score. We don't score any. They score 1. So like, I was proud of myself though, because I was going against these guys that were drafted, like I was so upset and I was so like sad that I was starting in the FPHL, like I never heard of this league before. Like I heard it was a goon league. Like I didn't want any part of it, but honestly, so happy that I did do it because, look where like I was able to make it to the AHL this year, man. And like,
Yeah.
It doesn't happen unless those experiences and you learn from those experiences. Right. So
Yeah, and like you
that's
get those experiences, and like it just helps you grow, especially like
yeah.
when you first start and like just get that foot in the door, and then like look at where you had 3 shutouts in 4 games in the SB, and like you go up to the ECHL. So it's all about like the process and like the experience that you gain from those experiences.
Exactly, man. It's all about the process of those experiences. And eventually Adirondack's goalies came back and I got sent back down to Knoxville. But I had a 16. I was like 16-8 and something that year, and it just leads to success. And that was the year COVID hit, unfortunately. And I think we would have won that year if we went all the way. I was feeling great. I was feeling the best I've ever felt, and my team was feeling good. And then, COVID shut everything down. But then I was fortunate enough because they're half the league and half the coast, right? All the teams didn't play. So I was fortunate enough to actually get a spot in Knoxville. But I got COVID like the first week I was there. So I was out for 10 days and I came back and I hurt my knee like one of the first couple practices back, so that's why I only had 4 games that year. So hurt my knee pretty bad and took the rest of the year off just to rehab it and to get better. And then yeah, man, just was ready for this year, this past recent year here.
Yeah, those are some great some experiences to experience and then have to grow from those, especially like when you get hit with COVID and then you get hit with a knee injury and you just gotta battle back and do whatever you can to rehab it and
Yeah.
feel better for the next season.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, it was a good, like, I wasn't in the second year, with COVID. I wasn't really in the right mindset. I mean, there was just so many things going on and, not being able to train at the gyms because everything's closed. And,
Yeah.
you can only do so much when you're at home, right? So that was a kind of tough mentally, but, it was good to like kind of take that year off and, mentally regroup and figure out what I need to do to succeed. So.
Yeah, exactly. So like throughout like those first 2 years of pro hockey, like what are some of the things that you learned that like really helped you like take that next step, especially this season?
Yeah, like honestly, it's attitude. There's a lot of attitude, a lot of mindset, keeping your cool. I'm a hot-headed guy, I like to win. I hate losing. I hate when guys aren't giving it their all. So, I'm not afraid to, tell somebody like, hey, let's go pick it up. Like if you're not out here trying, like, then why are you out here? Like this is our, like, it's a job for us, right? Like we're making, like, this is our careers. Like if you're not putting your full invested time into it, then like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
That's just my mindset. I want to win. I want to win every practice. I want to stop every shot. So like towards along the way, you kind of have to keep your head cool, right? You kind of keep your head down. You don't want to make any wrong friends or like make any enemies. So these last couple of years has really taught me to kind of keep my mouth shut. Just control the controllables, do what you can do. And that's all you can hope for, right? Because
Yeah.
there's going to be times where the defense gives the puck away. There's going to be times where bad goals happen, right? Like you just got to find a way to get past it. So a lot of it has to do with attitude. And then honestly, man, the training, the off ice stuff, you got to be working out every day to be in the shape that you need to be in, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of success in the ECHL with being in an affiliation, because they set you up for, they give you workouts and the different proteins you have to have and vitamins. And so that's what these last couple of years has taught me, is to really keep your head down and just work your hardest and figure out what you need to do to be better.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you just got to keep working hard and like trusting the process. Cause like if you don't trust the process, that's when like you start to plateau. But if you trust the process and like everything that you're doing, like it's just gonna help your game in the end. It's gonna help you like stay confident as well. Cause if you're putting the work in the gym, that's gonna translate onto the ice because you're putting in the
Exactly, man.
work.
And that's what I noticed. I really took the training to the next level last summer, and I noticed a difference in my game. I felt a step faster. I felt like, I could do some things that I was making saves that I normally don't make, So yeah, man, the gym aspect is huge, is a crucial way to being successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I'm going up, like working my way to pro hockey, like it's all about the off season, the off ice
Yeah.
training and everything. Cause like once you put in the work, like you said, like your game changes and you can notice like you're a step faster out there and like it's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
you're gonna be able to stay ahead of the play.
Yeah, and like once you see those differences in those games, like that's what motivates you to keep wanting to do it, right? Because you see
Yeah.
this change in your game, right? You're like, oh shit, like my bad, like you're doing better, like you're getting better, and you don't even realize it. So
Yeah, exactly. So like throughout like your first 2 years of pro hockey or like even this year, like are there any like stories that stand out where like what is happening right now?
I mean, the uh the FPHL was a different, it's different world. We were living, like, I lived out of a hotel. Some guys were living in like old frat houses, like the only thing is that like they don't have a lot of money down there, right? So, you know, uh like we were taking a coach bus 16 hours down to Georgia, down to Columbus, Georgia. And like that was like the worst like possible thing that you could ever go through, like the seats are all like
Yeah.
You're sleeping on the ground, everything's dirty. Like is that like stories like that, or like you talking about like hockey stories?
Just stories like the bus, like what
Yeah, yeah.
like what you had in the Fed and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Like, yeah. So like, I mean, yeah, like that was one of the instances. We drove 16 hours there and back on a coach bus. Like you can't sleep, like you're on the ground, like the chairs are, it's tough for you to keep your body the way you need it to be when you're not sleeping right. You're uncomfortable. And like, I woke up and like my back was like messed up for like 2 days, because I'm not used to that. And then you go to like place like Knoxville, and then you got like a sleeper bus, right? Like, you're able to nap before your game when you want to nap. There's a microwave on the bus. You can warm up your pregame meal, like it just depends on where you're going, right? Like some teams have money and some don't. So like the teams that have money, obviously they're going to be better because they have things to set you up for that. Even in this year, like I was on 5 different ECHL teams, like I traveled through, I want to say 12 to 14 different states. Like,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, I love being alone. I just throw on a podcast, like it's chill, like there's not much to it. The drive happens, eventually you get to where you're supposed to get to. But yeah, man, this year was probably the craziest for me because it was all out of my control. I was losing spots to contracted guys that are within, like, I started in Wheeling and Pittsburgh, right? And Pittsburgh sends 2 guys down, and then I signed with Cincinnati, and then Cincinnati sends a guy down, and then they trade me to
It's all a
Kalamazoo.
trickle effect.
Yeah, it's all the trickle effect, right? And like that's what I'm working towards, man. Like I just trying to find a contract somewhere that I won't be pushed around like that, because I'm at a point in my career. I'm 24 years old. It's like now or never, like you got to make the push now if you want to make the big league.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to make that contract work with Abbotsford. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, like started in Wheeling, Cincinnati, then up to Kalamazoo. Like these aren't like short drives, man. Like,
Yeah.
Wheeling to Cincinnati was probably the closest, 4 hours, and then up to 6 hours to Kalamazoo, and then 11 hours down to Kansas City. And then, flew home for Christmas, fly back to Kansas City, drive another 11 hours to Atlanta. And, it gets long, man. Like it's tough. It's tough on the mind. You don't really know if you want to do it anymore because, teams, they don't have interest in you. They just use you for whatever they need you to use you for. And then it's a business, right? So besides that, there hasn't really been too many stories. I mean, besides buses breaking down one night and us having to push it, like that happened in the Fed the one night we were driving home, and for all of a sudden the bus got pushed, or I don't know if the driver, he like ran out of gas or something, and there was a gas station about a mile ahead, and so we pushed the bus station to the gas station. And this is like 3 a.m. We're doing this, right? Like we're all sleeping, and then a coach is like, "Hey, everybody off the bus, we got to start pushing." And I'm like, "Are you serious? Like what is happening right now?" So like besides that, everything's running fairly smoothly. My first call up to Adirondack, I flew there out of the Knoxville airport, and I had a seat and everything, and I go to scan my ticket, and she's like, "Okay, wait over here." And I'm like,
Shit.
"Okay." I'm like, "What's wrong?" And then like they're like, "No, nothing. Like we're just like putting your passport information in." I'm like, "Okay, great." So then they go, like there's 3 of us standing off to the side, and like they're like, "Okay, like there's a seat open for this guy or whatever," right? And like this person that was waiting, I guess they were waiting for an extra seat or whatever. So they put this kid on the flight, and then I'm like, "Excuse me, like I have a seat number. Like what's going on? Like why did you close the door?" And they're like, "Oh, like sorry, like I was like, you told me to wait over here. Like what's going on?" So anyways, they gave my seat away to this other person that was waiting.
Wow.
Because they didn't realize, I don't know, this girl didn't tell me to sit over here. I was like, it literally says on the ticket like 17F or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I missed I missed practice. So I was all like, I missed getting there, right? So like, and I didn't want it to look bad, like on like that I missed a flight or something, right? But like they legit just like they screwed me
Canned
over,
you
right?
from the flight.
Yeah, they canned me from the flight. And then, I mean, the good thing about it is that I got like a $1,000 voucher, plane voucher for American Airlines. So something good came out of it, because I was able to use that after to fly home, and it was, so everything worked out. But I missed the first practice. I just didn't want to see him like give off the wrong impression, but
Yeah.
they understood, the coach understood, and everything was well, and yeah, everything went well.
Yeah, you always hear those stories, and and you're like, how do you deal with that? But like, it's for the
Yeah,
love of the game, and like you want to go play the game you love, and like you'll do anything to play the game you love.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like this season has been like one wild journey for you, where like you said, you play on 5 ECHL teams, and then you get the call up to the American League with the Abbotsford Canucks. Like, what was your time like in Abbotsford like?
Honestly, man, it was the best experience I could have ever imagined. I went up there with open mind, just like do whatever I can to try to impress. This is like a really, like, I didn't have any expectations. I didn't even know I was coming. I was gaming one day, and I was just playing some COD, and my agent was just like, he's like, call me ASAP. And I'm like, oh, like, what's going on? Like, where am I going now? Kind of thing. Like, I got another coast team. And then he's like, hey, like, I got a call from the Abbotsford goalie coach. We're looking to bring you in, maybe. He's like, I'm going to try to figure it out. Like, we're going to try to work on it. I'm like, okay, great. Call me back. 10 minutes later, he called me back, and he goes, you want the good news or the bad news? And I was like, oh, give me the bad news first. Like, what's the bad news? He's like, bad news is like they filled somebody in with the position or whatever. And I'm like, oh, like, of course. And he's like, you want the good news? Like, the good news, he's like, I'm messing with you. He's like, I'm like, oh, like, he's like, yeah, you're gonna go up there, they're gonna call you up, you're gonna get a call from the GM or whatever. And I was like, okay, great, like, this is awesome. Like, didn't really expect anything, right? Like, I had no idea. I was just happy that my name was like being bounced around up there, right?
Yeah,
Because I haven't really got this kind of opportunity. Like, you don't really like think about it until it actually happens. Like, this is a league below the NHL. So like,
yeah,
this is a big opportunity. And yeah, so I went up to Abbotsford, and like, man, like, they got a coach for everything up there. They got a goalie coach, like a video coach, a training coach, a strength coach, a skating coach, right? Like, they have everything that you need, and it's the AHL, right? So I learned more up there in like the 2 weeks that I was there than I did like the last 2 years, because like you don't
yeah,
have goalie coaches like in the SPHL, and the most coast teams, they don't have goalie coaches, right? So you're not able to analyze your game, look over a video, look at the little things you're doing, I'm a bigger guy, I like to model my game after Demko now, right? Like Thatcher
yeah,
Demko. And our games are so correlated together that it was so easy for me to pick up things that he was doing, because he's a taller guy, right?
yeah,
I was taking like the way I was playing, it was like I was playing the whole game in the first period. The way I was going down all the time or going in my reverse, and like the goalie coach up there just made it so much easier for me to like play like a lot lighter. Like I didn't know I had to be in 3 different kinds of stances when the puck's like entering the zone. Like, there's a high stance, a medium stance, and a full stance. Like, I didn't know that I had to be like 12 to 24 inches outside the crease, like on an even man rush versus an odd man rush, like, and it transitioned, right? Because I didn't even know I was going to play that first game up there, right? They bag skated me in the morning. I was on the ice for an hour and a half for morning skate, like skating with the scratches, and then all of a sudden the coach comes out. He's like, get him off the ice. Like, he might be playing tonight. I'm like, what do you mean I might be playing tonight? Like, I'm just skating for an hour and a half. Like, I was tired. It's a lot
yeah,
of work up there, right? Because you have a workout in the morning, and then you're on the ice, and because you're not playing, you stay on the ice. So yeah, he pulls me in the office, and I guess 2 goalies in Vancouver tested positive like the same day. So they lost 2 guys right away. So they had 1 guy up there, and then the guy that was with me. So then they didn't want him to get injured. So they're like, yeah, Joe, you're going to play tonight. Like, it's just like any other game. Like, we got your back, don't be worried. And I felt tired, cause like I back skated in the morning, and I felt behind the play, and the guy stepped it up for me, right? And I only had 16 shots on net, and it was almost easier to play up there than it was in the coast, man, because everybody knows their role, everybody knows what
yeah,
they're doing. Guys aren't making mistakes. They're pulling the puck in the right place that it needs to go, So it felt easier. And then, I got the second game that the next night, and that's when I was like, okay, like this is like, I was used to the pace of play. I was seeing things a lot better. I was taking what I took into practice into the game, and
Yeah.
yeah, man, it worked out great, and I got 2 wins out of it, and it was pretty spectacular, pretty motivating, and helping me to forward my career even more.
Yeah, so like what's the feeling like you get that first AHL win? Like what's the feeling like after, and like when you go to the locker room with the boys?
Yeah, so like, it's like any kind of like thing you see on Instagram or Facebook, they're all silent treatment, and then all of a sudden, like, they're spraying you with water. I had a really good, it was my first win, right? And I had a very challenging year, so getting that first win, it kind of motivates you. It's like, okay, like you can do this. Like don't think negatively. Like if you win in the
Yeah.
AHL, you can win anywhere. So that transition, just having the guys having my back, like just having the support. You don't really know a lot of guys are making a lot of money up there, right? Like they don't care about some average guy on a
Yeah.
PTO, but this team did. They had a good team, they had people who cared, right? So it makes your game a lot easier and a lot better. So yeah, winning that game, just makes you like, okay, you can do this, motivates you. And the next night, like I was ready, got a good sleep, got a good pregame meal, good stretching, and we won 4-2 the next night. And we had a 6-on-3 for 2 minutes, man, in the
Oh,
last 2 minutes of the game, because they pulled their goalie, they were down, and they were down 2. And I've never been so tired in my life. Like, it's a 6-on-3, like the tip-tack-toe, and I'm sliding, I'm making these backdoor saves. And, they gave me second star that night. And, it's just like so motivating, and it's just so rewarding to see that the work that you put in pay off.
yeah. You think back skates are bad, and then you get put in a 6-on-3 situation. You're just
Yeah,
going
for two
moving
minutes, like
every which direction for 2 straight minutes.
yeah, and then you got guys in front of the net screening you. It's pretty crazy, man. Like it's pretty wild.
Yeah, exactly. So like how do you adapt and adjust to like the screens in the AHL? Because like it's probably they're probably getting in the way a lot better than
Yeah,
anywhere
so like
else.
honestly, man, it's just like me being in my high stance, which is just being relaxed, like just perfectly just standing tall and looking over guys' shoulders, right? Like guy changes the puck, right? You got to be on the other side of the shoulder, right? You
Yeah.
got to be looking over shoulders, like guys are good down low. Like there's no sense of you being like low
Yeah.
and trying to fight the screens around, because I'm a pretty tall guy, right? So I like to look over top of guys, which is a lot easier for me, and it transitions in my game. That's how I play, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, like just you got to be fit. You got like your head, you got to be fast. You always got to be on a swivel. You always got to try to read plays. What's next? What's this guy trying to do? Is there a guy back door? Like it's all like in your head while you're playing. So
Yeah. And like even my goalie coach now will be like, if the puck's at the blue line and it's not like a high scoring chance, like there's no reason you should be in like a low stance. You should be like relaxed, loose, and
yeah,
like
yeah.
it makes your moves a lot easier and like a lot more efficient too.
Yeah. That's what a lot of guys are teaching now, is just being in a nice relaxed stance. I mean, especially when the puck's like moving, like if the puck's in the zone, but it's moving up, like away from you, you should always be in a high stance. You should never be locked, because there's no threat.
Yeah.
There's nobody there. Right. So, but yeah, man, like, but learning all these things in Abbotsford transitioned to when I was back in Atlanta. Right. Cause I went from being like a fourth goalie there or whatever, right? Because Ottawa had sent 2 guys down,
Yeah.
to being the first guy there, because one guy left for Germany, went played in the Dell. One guy got called back up to Ottawa because Matt Murray got hurt, and then my other goalie partner got called up to Cleveland because they had 2 COVID issues, right? So I went from being like the fourth guy there to being the guy, right? And I went 7-0 when I came back from Abbotsford, and you can just tell that what I've learned up there, I transitioned in the back here, right? So it kicked off my coast, right? The coach loved me, when you got a goalie that's winning like that, right? And
Yeah.
they like you, they like guys that are winning. So being in Abbotsford helped me so much to transition back into Atlanta. And obviously, like I'm a young guy. Like I'd like to say this is my 3rd year, but it's really my 2nd year, because I don't like to count the COVID year. But
Yeah.
my goalie partner, he had a lot of experience, so they decided to go play. We just rotated every game for the rest of the season, right? But like when you rotate, like you're taking nights off and you're not feeling like when I was 7-0, man, I was playing every night, right? So
Yeah.
like I was feeling the puck, you're feeling better, you're the starter, right? Like you're coming in preparing, like you're gonna, like, so I felt like it was kind of difficult to just go back and forth every night, like night off, night on, night off. Like it was nice because you got a break, but I like to play consistently because that's how when
Yeah.
my game is the best.
Yeah, for sure. And like what was it like in Atlanta since you got that big opportunity there, and like you're just playing there in Atlanta, and like it's a great organization too, and like has a lot of history behind it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was great. Jeff Powell, the coach there, he's awesome. He knows how to really connect a group and put guys together. I mean, we had a lot of issues with the rink, and having to practice at a practice rink, and not letting us in when we needed to be in there, and so there's a lot of adversity, a lot of different things happening throughout there. But he knew how to. We had a lot of veterans on the team that helped and contribute to winning, right? And you know, we got swept in the first round. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but the rink had booked Disney on Ice because they didn't think that we were going to make the playoffs. So, because Atlanta didn't have really good team like a couple years before that, so they never had playoff hockey there. So the rink was like, yeah, we'll book Disney on Ice because it brings in more money, because the ownership of our team is different than the ownership of the rink, right? So they don't really
Yeah.
have a say with what happens. So we had to play the first 4 games in Jacksonville, and they had 2 young coaches that are trying to make it up, both ex-AHL players that are trying to make a career in coaching, and they just, I think we might have got out coached, or we like I said, we went 0 for 20 on the power play. That can't happen. Like we were losing 1-goal games. Like we were up 1-0 with like 7 minutes to go, and we lost 2-1. Like we had all the tools for us to win, but being on the road and adversity, and the one game I played, Elton John or somebody was playing at a concert in Jacksonville there, so like we didn't have a late checkout, so like all the guys were napping on the ground in the room before the game, and like this is like this is professional hockey. Like I didn't have a great nap. I wasn't mentally there, and we lost 5-4 in OT. But that's the stuff that you kind of like, you gotta figure out. Like there's going to be adversity, there's going to be things that have happened, and it's just the way that you move forward with it. So, but a lot of the learning experience this year, they protected my rights. So I have to, well, I'd love to go back there and and start something new again. So, but other than that, man, yeah, like Atlanta is great, coaching is great, the guys are even better, and nothing but good things to say.
Yeah, that's great. And like especially like with a great organization like that, like you want to go back and you want to start like another season
Yeah.
where you're gonna have a lot of success and hopefully take on another playoff run with the team.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it's all about there. Like they want to bring back the team that we had last year, and if we have that team, we're gonna be dangerous. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly. So Joe, I have a few more questions for you before we wrap things up here. So like you faced a lot of obstacles along the way with getting to the AHL and then with like contracted goalie situations. Like how do you go about it and like stay patient throughout like everything with like contracted goalies? Like it's a trickle down effect like we were
Yeah,
talking about earlier.
yeah. Like I don't know, man. Like you kind of just do it. Like yeah. I mean, I could have went to school. I could have did all these other things. I have a really good job being a goalie coach back home, but ultimately it's about the game. And if you don't keep pushing forward, then you shouldn't be playing, because it's love, right? Like I love the game so
Yeah.
much. So that's what keeps me going. I love being the savior, and I know that opportunities will prevent itself, or will occur, if you're just patient. And yeah, the trickle down effect is unfortunate, and I haven't been really set up for contracts and stuff like that, so it is hard. But honestly, like all you can do is believe in yourself. Like I believe in my play. I believe in what I can do for a team and how I can help teams. Um, but at the end of the day, you have to love the game to be able to do it.
Yeah.
You have to be motivated, because yeah, this is probably one of the toughest years. Like you said, I've been on 5 different ECHL teams. Like, it's tough meeting 5 different groups of guys trying to bond, trying to blend in, and in some teams it's easier to make friends with, and then some teams it's not. You got guys that have bigger egos and that they think they are better than some guys, and
Yeah.
they don't talk to you, or they don't try to make you fit in. So honestly, it depends on who you are and what you can bring to the table, and if you don't, like, it's a job. Like I said, it's a job, and if you're not there to perform, then you're out. So basically, yeah, you gotta love the game to be able to go through those instances. And I didn't really know if I wanted to continue after this year, but getting the call up to the AHL and having somebody talk about me and believe in me, it's a game changer.
Yeah. So would you say like the same reasons apply to like having like success and like working along the way, along the journeys to get to that point? It's just be patient, have love for the game, and then just like having
Yeah,
that confidence factor that
honestly,
teams
just
are
like, yeah,
wanting you.
believing in yourself, man. I think believing in yourself and putting the work in is ultimately going to be the best thing for you or for anybody. um like I said, I've gotten a lot of experiences. I've played on, I don't know, maybe 20 different teams throughout my career, and yeah, you learn on the way, but ultimately it's how you want. Like, if you're not happy, man, at the end of the day, like, you got to be happy. You got to do
Yeah.
what's right for you. It's all a mental game. If it's not for you, it's not for you, right? There's so many things in the world that people can do nowadays, that whether it's like, whether it's a trade or going to university or college, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many things, and hockey isn't it. It's not everything, right? Like, I like to think about that. Like, but the only way that I will be able to move forward is because I know one day I won't be able to play this anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm young. I might as well play this while I can. Try to do the best that I can. I see goalies developing later in their years all the time. Tim Thomas was a guy that developed a lot later in his career, and you give examples, try to find things that motivate you. You're going to have bad days, you're going to be down, there's going to be times where you don't want to play anymore, but you just got to find that willpower in the back of your mind to keep pushing, and to try to make yourself succeed. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like would that be like a big tip for anyone, any
Yeah.
younger goalies and anyone looking to get to
Yeah.
that next level? It's just everything that you've been saying.
Yeah, everything that I've been saying, man. Like, just like, like, look out for yourself. At the end of the day, if you're not happy doing what you want to do, then there's going to be something else for you to do. And
Yeah.
if you're happy loving hockey, then you know what, go for it. Anybody can do anything that they put their minds to, man. It's just about like putting in the work and doing the things. And I've struggled with that a lot, mentally, and not working out the most, and maybe gaining some weight that I won't. But as you get older, you start to figure out that, yeah, like, this, in order for you to succeed, you need to be in shape. You need to go to the gym every morning. Like, you need to do the things in order for you to succeed. And if you don't do that, then, like, maybe it's not for you, and that's okay. Things don't always have to be like the way that you want them to be. They can be different. So yeah, my advice to kids that are younger, or that are coming up through juniors, like, everything, every day is a new day, right? Wake up with the mindset, of wanting to do that 1% better every day. If you can do that 1% better, you'll notice changes in your game. Maybe you're thinking you're sitting at home doing nothing. Well, maybe pick up some balls, learn how to juggle. Even if it's hand eye, like, you can do little things that'll improve your game even when you don't even realize it. So yeah, that's my
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah, those are some great tips and advice, and like anyone can use those what you just said, and like and improve for the next season, going into the following season,
Exactly.
just to get better and have get that 1% better every day.
Exactly. You know it, man.
Yeah. So my final question for you is, if you had a superpower, what would it be? Like any superpower that you can, what would you
Oh,
be?
that's a good
What would you
one,
have?
man. Probably be able to fly. I feel like flying would be pretty cool. Flying or invisibility. I love to be invisible, like, just moving around, but
Just
I would
lurk
have to.
around a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, see what's going on. I would have to say flying, though, for sure. Like, Iron Man's one of my favorite characters. So if I had like a massive jetpack on the back of me or something, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. How about
that's
you? What's
awesome.
yours? What
Probably,
would you do?
I would say probably fly. Like
Yeah.
I'd probably like planes aren't like my favorite, but like I'll go on
Yeah.
it because like I love going on
Yeah.
vacations and all that. But like if I
Yeah.
could fly myself, like why wouldn't you want to fly?
Yeah, exactly, man. You know how faster you could get to places, no traffic, no anything. Like I
Nothing.
feel like everybody's got to be flying.
Yeah, exactly. Where would you go if you for your
Oh,
first trip by yourself? Where would you go?
if I could fly to Bora Bora, that would be pretty cool. But like other than that, I'd probably just fly down to Florida or something and maybe Mexico. But who knows? All the border restrictions and stuff, you might get shot down or something, man. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd go Florida or California.
Yeah,
Anywhere
Cali would
warm,
be dope.
honestly.
Yeah, Cali would be pretty dude. I met the team in California and LA when I was meeting Abbotsford, and it's so nice out there, man. Like I just got back. Well, I went to Bali, like Thailand, Bali, and I learned how to surf out there. So that would be pretty cool to go out to Cali and surf those waves.
Joe's gonna be surfing in California one day.
Oh yeah,
Calling
you
it.
know it, brother. You know it, man.
Yeah, but Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate
Yeah.
your time, and I look forward to following your career the rest of the way.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Jack. It's been a pleasure, man, and all the best to you and your family. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. You too.
Okay, take care, man.
You too. See ya.